Hi friends, so here I am again, Melanie, on the 14th of January 2025 in the wake of the LA fires, and I wanted to address those also astrologically with the charts of California and LA in relation to this full moon we just had yesterday. What an intense powerhouse activating Mars retro in Cancer and also with the Sun Pluto on that Capricorn Aquarius cusp and in T square with Chiron in Aries. So let's dive in. In the previous video, I readdressed also the full moon, and that was also for integration of the full moon. And I will reference that again, but of course you can always tune into the previous one for a bit more. And here specifically in relation to California and to LA. Because that was really striking, that the fires really fed into that full moon energy. And typically with the full moon, things culminate, things come to fruition. And here specifically also with the moon in Cancer, where the moon is at home, it's all about homes and families, versus with Capricorn, where the sun is, end of Capricorn, it has to do with government, with infrastructure, with organization, with leadership, with resources, right? Resource management and all that in this massive disaster. And with Chiron in Aries, it has to do with emergencies. It has to do with first responders, literally the fire sign Aries, and then Mars ruling Aries being retrograde in Cancer. So where the energy went really in the wrong direction and destroyed and ripped through homes and neighborhoods. So we've seen the images, we know the situation. Of course, we don't quite know the array of causes, right? So there's various theories out there, and probably it's a bit of everything reasonable, right? And in essence, with the Sun Pluto here on this cusp of Capricorn Aquarius, leadership, organization, and systems need to change, right? This is a wake-up call, and the Sun will meet Pluto on the 21st of January as freshly in Aquarius, and the next new moon on the 29th really also brings out Pluto very strongly. There'll be a lot of Aquarius energy. So let's look into the charts of California. That's on top of my pile. And California, 9th of September, 9/9, 1850, San Jose. So here we go. And we have the exact time. So I also go then with the ascendant. In other words, Scorpio. Scorpio rising, Scorpio moon, Scorpio Venus. Right. And what are we associating Scorpio with? Pluto. Pluto rules Scorpio. Plus, Pluto is now in square with, and T-square, in fact, with the California ascendant descendant. In fact, also Pluto is in square with California's Pluto-Uranus. End of Aries, Taurus, right? I'm thinking here of pioneers and settlers. I'm thinking also of the mid-1800s gold rush, right? All of that. And of course, there's been lots of various versions of gold rush in between. Dare I say, this Pluto here and the Sun, end of Capricorn, early Aquarius, squared also this, right? So we having here a crisis of modernity, right? We're at the juncture of historic Capricorn also ways of dealing with resources, right? And of exploitation in its shadow. And at the same time, the question of honoring the land, right? Honoring the land, working with the land respectfully. That would be the simplest way of being with Capricorn. And now we're seeing, yeah, so how have things been managed and how does it affect this whole notion of, yeah, basically being in right alignment with nature, right? And not going into shadow, not disrupting nature consistently. So that would be also the Pluto Uranus right on the cusp in the California chart. Interesting pieces. And then Pluto has also, sorry, California has also the Sun in Virgo, which is opposed by Saturn currently. Let me just show you a few of those things in the synastry chart, which is also the chart of the transits of the energies for California at the full moon, right? So you can see this whole theme with the Sun Pluto here, right? In T square, in square with its Pluto, in square with its ascendant in Scorpio, the Moon and Venus. That itself can also have to do with, yeah, deep desires to be basically also, uh, yeah, really dig in, literally, right, in Scorpio and be in control. So there's lots of control issues with Scorpio, and it can be also control uh, via money with Venus, via also various desires, and via what's with the movie industry. Leo Scorpio, right? So Leo being the north node of um, of California definitely has been a calling, has been quite a purpose of this state, and yeah, its image also, its public image has been very much this Leo show business movie situation, and and the Aquarius South Node. So what's going on for regular people, right? Pluto going now, being now in Aquarius and soon going over the South Node of California definitely also brings out the notion to empower, to have everybody being more empowered, not having this old, like, uh, what is saying, like a plutocracy, literally, right? So the rulership of the wealthy. That's definitely a big piece here. And yeah, so everybody was affected. Of course, those who have only one home and happen to be in the neighborhood are more affected than celebrities who have maybe a big home, but maybe also another home, and so on, right? But in the end, we're all humans. Everybody had, lots of people had their trauma and of losing your home and needing to start from scratch from the Aries side, right? So starting of scratch and the pioneer theme here for California, that's also the Saturn in Aries for California, right? Lots of mid and end of Aries energy, where Chiron is now, right? So this is also a very vulnerable position. It's not just has been a something to master and to become, to start and establish yourself, but in this case also a very vulnerable position to start in this situation, and as also US starts on a whole new footing as well. What's going on with emergency response, what's going on with FEMA and so on, right? Lots of people are affected there, and also a wake up call, right? So Aries has to do with fresh new approaches. The wake up call energy I associate more with Uranus, and Uranus together with Pluto in the California chart, squared by Pluto. Again, like this is deep, this is intense, and it also can be very transformational for the country. Then California also has, as I said, the Sun in Virgo and Saturn and Venus approaching Saturn opposite, right? So you have that dynamic. So you have the Virgo side is typically related to know-how, managing things, organizing things, but also being self-sufficient, maybe via your special skills. And the Pisces side says, wow, now I really need help. Now I'm helpless. I lost everything. This I need practical things. We need to manage the chaos, Saturn in Pisces, and there needs to be an outpouring of love. Venus, right, also going beyond the fear that even more will be lost, right? So love has to find its way and has to be also received, of course. Then we have also for California Jupiter in on the cusp of Virgo to Libra, which are called the design point. Yes, there's beautiful designs there also, right? In architecture, in art, and otherwise design. So arts and crafts and functionality and beauty, all of that is here. And of course, it has to do with the also the whole wellness and beauty and art industry, so to say, right? And currently with the south node there, that's not so much where it's at clearly, right? To That is actually countered by this Pisces Aries dynamic where Neptune is and the north node are, right? So that's also a lot is uh, falling as apart as it's coming together in a new way. We're more in a kind of a very raw situation rather than this whole refined, beautifully refined Virgo Libra dynamic. So yeah, and so Neptune and the North Node and even Saturn joining them almost throughout the year will definitely also affect California. But the biggest factor I would say for California is like really a big rebuilding that's coming up with this Pluto in early Aquarius, squaring its ascendant, descendant, squaring its Venus and Moon, and yeah, and also it's Pluto Uranus. It's like California is really at the crossroads. And let's look at the LA chart. The LA chart for starters, here is the date, here is the data, 4th of September, also Virgo season, 1781. And again, the sun, just like with California, is the only factor in Virgo. Yeah, for California, Jupiter's a very end, also very end, last degree. And so, what's with LA? We're having also the exact time. We're having 9:11, 9:11 a.m. And what are we having here? We're having ascendant-wise, depending on the birth time, right, or on the time of when it was established, incorporated, is the rising sign, end of Libra. A bit similar to California with the rising sign here, early Scorpio, right? So their rising signs and their sun signs are close, right? So there's a strong identification with each other, LA and California. So for LA, we have the rising sign end of Libra with a south node there as well, and the north node end of Aries, right? So California has been really supportive and linked to LA, right? On its north node, Pluto and Uranus, holy moly, right? It brought it out big time. The state brought out the city big time, and definitely in strong connection with each other. Now, what strikes me for LA is the full moon. Not only is the full moon in square again with in T square with its ascendant descendant, but also its nodal axis, plus Pluto. The Pluto for LA in early Aquarius will soon return. Pluto is currently at like 2 degrees, and the Pluto of LA is at 448 degrees. So it won't happen quite this year. How far does Pluto go? Let me just peek here. Sorry, I have to go back to my various tables. Pluto goes the furthest this year on May the 4th, believe it or not. And that will be at 349, right? This is as far as it goes, but it's pretty close, right? 349, and for LA's Pluto's at 448, 1 degree away. So this year in spring, we have a strong, and that comes only, once every 248 years. Also a big push for renewal, while also the shadow comes out. The same has happened for the US, right? US had their Pluto return end of Capricorn in 2023 and 24. 2022 it started already, right? So a lot has come up. Now it's time for also regeneration on the Capricorn side. Also, yeah, let's see what the new government brings in that regard, Capricorn. And also the shadow regarding power, abuse of power, exploitation, right? And so on. And it's not, by the way, it's not always automatically shifting and transforming as soon as a planet enters a new sign. No, this is just the start of the process, right? It brings things out. And even there can be a carryover, right? Even for the US, although Pluto is already out of Capricorn, but we can still deal with these things with all these Capricorn shadow elements. Then again, LA, yes, LA has a strong Mars, right? LA has its Mars in Capricorn, where it's the strongest, while the current Mars in Cancer opposes that one, right? So there's also this very ambitious side of LA and Hollywood and so on, right? If in a way, if you can make it there, right? So New York has the moon in Capricorn, and LA has Mars in Capricorn. And so let's dive right into the LA transits with a full moon again, as indicated through the synastry chart. And this is like, whoa, look at all this, right? This is intense. And this is an intense T-square here, looking like a perfect perpendicular box. Wow, wow, right? I just pointed out Mars. So the LA planets are in the outer ring. The full moon sphere is on the inner. And so you see the click points, you see the connection points, like starting with that, right? So you have Mars in Capricorn, having been transited by the Sun, being basically sandwiched by the current Mercury and the Sun. All right, so we have to talk about leadership, about organization, about management of what's resources in this really timely and critical situation. Serious stuff. And then you see also the Pluto, the current Pluto here, and the LA Pluto here, right? So approaching its Pluto return only every 248 years, the first one in history for LA. In the next, starting this spring, definitely next year. Yeah. So, yeah. So again, Aquarius, the people, right? What's with the people? And what's with systems? Then you see the Mars, the occulted Mars here with Moon, opposing the LA Mars, right? So there's a really sensitive issue, and definitely a lot of fires in the home, trouble in the home with Mars in Cancer. Lots of people lost their homes. It's been a very emotional time. Then you have also not only this dynamic, right? You have also the ascendant of LA, end of Libra, the descendant, end of Aries, ascendant also here with the south node, end of Libra, early Aries. We have end of Libra, early Scorpio, where LA has its south node. You can see here, I didn't pencil it in the other one. You can see it here. I call this alchemy point, magic, right? The magic, I'm thinking especially of Hollywood again and so on, right? And it's also a point of strategies, of here also like who's elected, Libra, right? Fairness, justice, the whole justice system, and then its consequences. And then you have also the right ingredients with Libra, makes a magical mix, right? So that piece is the ascendant, very much identity of LA, and this the full moon T squared it, right? And Lilith is coming there too. So it's not looking so nice for LA, right? And also the Aries side where the North Node is, where Chiron is currently approaching, and Chiron also on its own Lilith. It's a very raw situation, and it's also from this Aries, Pisces Aries dynamic. LA has its moon in early Aries, and now there's Neptune and the North Node and even Saturn approaching. So there's kind of a chaotic energy here, while also a big desire and big need for renewal, right? So there can be a big cascading effect, a cascading course of events can have quite a renewal effect for LA. And yeah, what else do I see in the transits for LA? And something else I wanted to point out. No, I guess that's it. So I will leave you with that. Don't want to go on and on, but I think that I could also shed light at the situation, and just here an ad hoc verbal rather than big article that I don't have time for at this time. Contribution, right, to the situation. I wish you well, and I wish you especially everybody actually affected by the wildfires or their families affected by the LA fires and any wildfires at this point in January. Hello. Um, really all the best. A strong spirit, good community, a good regeneration, and a support. And may you come through this and be stronger for it. And may trauma that occurred through all of this really heal. And yeah, we need to pull together as humanity. Wish you well and see you in the next video. Bye.